Hello mate, welcome to a long-awaited return to Let's Render. So what I've got here is Laura. I've put her in a Christmassy dress, or rather it wasn't a Christmassy dress when I put her in it, but I've just applied a new colour so that it looks Christmassy. So I'm just going to do funnily enough, a Christmassy render. So what I want to do first is kind of set up the environment. So I'm just going to do it with primitives, nice and simple. In fact, I could just build the room with a cube. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a cube. It's going to be, it's only going to be a vignette, so 4 meters is fine. Zoom all the way out. Select our cube. Excusez-moi. Go into our geometry editor tool. And then I'm going to go to selection type, polygon selection. Selection mode is drag. That's fine. Cool. Got rid of them. And we're going to geometry editing. Delete selected polygons. Yes. And then select these 3, and I'm going to edit, and I'm going to flip the normals so that they're pointing inwards rather than outwards, and then I can just scale that up as I wish. It's in a bit of a unique position now, so we just have to remember to bring the floor back up just more or less. It hasn't got to be perfect because we can always adjust Laura's position. But that works fine. That's a good vignette. Probably a bit too big, to be honest. We could probably do with scaling that down. And then dropping this down a little bit. And there will do. That's fine. Happy days. Okie dokie. Right, next thing I want to do is find a door. So I'll just go to door in my content library. Search for door. Pick one out. Give it a moment to have a bit of a think. And it doesn't have to be a posh door, it can be really any kind of door. How many times can I say door in one paragraph? I think I'll work with this one. See how this one looks. Apart from the fact that it's friggin' miles away. Where in God's name is that? Let's grab that. Over there. Okay, right, first thing I want to do is turn off selectability of the cube because I don't want like flickering yellow. And we're going to rotate this 90 degrees. It's only going to be a background item, so it hasn't got to be perfect. It's just got to be in the scene. That's good enough. It's just a background item, so we'll just drag that over. That's fine. Okay, next thing I want to do is bring in a desk or a table. Let's see what we got. Beedle-doo, dim-da-doo. It hasn't got to be super posh, but let's pretend that it's an office of some company. Maybe Laura's been hired to entertain, so we'll rotate that slightly and we'll stick that there perhaps. Right, let's see what Christmassy props we've got. Yeah. And lo and behold, do a search on Christmas and you get some random stuff back. I'm going to pop those in, select the whole lot and slide them over there again. Just background items really. And let's pop a couple of smaller gifts on the desk perhaps. I'll refine their positions shortly. I'm just looking to get some items in the scene for now. That can be up there as well. That's cool. Right, we need some kind of computer so that we can actually make this look like it's a legit office space. So there we go. We've got a monitor there. And we're going to need a keyboard. Don't think we need to worry about any of the rest of the stuff. She's going to be sitting on the desk anyway, so it's just stuff to fill the space. Right, let's look for a Christmas tree. It hasn't necessarily got to be a Christmas tree. We can just put a tree in the corner, but it's got to be something that vaguely resembles a fir tree at least. So, let's see what I've got. I'm sure I've got tons and tons of offerings. I just got to find suitable one. That might be a bit big. No, look at that. Oh, that's no good. Who made that prop? Seriously. think the days of billboarding plants is long gone. Fir tree, fir tree, fir tree. Or any kind of tree that vaguely resembles a fir. That's not a single tree, so that's no good. Ah, okay. Well, we've got a... No, definitely not. I'm thinking... the pine, it's not fir, but it might be the closest we can get that's not a billboarded plant, because I really don't want to use a billboarded plant in the background. That kind of ruin the ambiance, you know? Failing that, we could just think of something else to put in the corner of the scene to fill that empty space. I mean, we could just do it like a typical office plant like this one, stick it in the back corner. And then we can add some kind of Christmas motif to it in post. I think that's probably what we're going to have to do. All right, so let's zoom on in. We've got to move this monitor into the correct position. Make sure it's suitably on the desk. So up. There is good enough. Rotate it so that it actually looks like it's an office desk that's in use. And pop that back there. Same thing with the keyboard. Let's slide this over this way and rotate it so it looks like someone's using it, and then we'll drop that down. Good enough. This present. Slide that one. We'll have these presents probably more in the foreground, I think. Right, let's turn off the desk's clickability. We'll turn off the door's clickability. Right, sticking with that present. Drop that down until it is... Oh, it's already resting on the desk. That's convenient. And this one is almost perfect as well. Look at that. How good am I? Serious. All right, so we now got to find a pose for her to be sitting on the desk. So let's do that. Do that in smart content instead, I think. Poses, please, by function sitting. See what we can come up with. And, interesting. Interesting. See what we've got here. Ooh, that might work. Notice I put the emphasis on the word might there. It may work, it may very well not. Depends on this. Yeah, let's have a look. Oh yeah, that'll work once I've deforced it. So what I'll do, simulation settings, render from specific time, and then we'll render that bad boy out. Not sure how the dress is going to drape under a bum. We might have to use the animation method of simulating this, but we'll see how we get on first. Alrighty, so that's that simulation done. There's a bit of weird clipping going on there, which we will have to fix, obviously. But let's just see. I'm going to have to rotate her somewhat this way. And I'm going to have to drop her down as well, because she is definitely not in the right place. Just drop her down there so that palm is resting more or less on the desk. The hand's actually going to be hidden behind the present, so it's not the end of the world if we get that spot on. However, we don't want it to look wrong. And you'll notice that that is definitely an issue, so we might have to do something with that in post. And what angle are we going to shoot from? That is the question. I'm not really enjoying this angle particularly. Kind of want to hit it from this angle, but I don't think her bum is actually level with, if we look, yeah, her bum's actually lower than her hand, which is kind of weird. I'm kind of thinking I want to shoot from this angle, so I think I'm going to have to get all the pose right and then animate it maybe. But let's sort out this problem with a dress clipping, because that's going to bug the hell out of me. Okay, so actor. What's this trans top thing? Oh no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Trans top chest adjust. Let's see if we can. No, that's the wrong way. No, that's. Well, that's useless. Those are utterly useless. Right, in that case, we will go to the scale and we'll just make it 101. Is mesh smoothing on? No, it's not. Okay, let's try that then. Undo scale. And make sure we've got the thing selected. Edit, object, geometry, add smoothing modifier. Boom, done. Problem solved. Alright. This is still an issue though, unless we have her really perched on the edge of the desk. Which I suppose is one solution to the problem. Let's have a look and see how that's going to look if I just select her. And I just drag her out a little bit. No, for goodness sake. Let's try that again. Just drag her so that she really is perched right on the edge. I suppose we could lift her a smidge. Alright, she's not actually on the... Oh no, she is on the desk, very slightly. There's a lot of compromise happening here, purely because this isn't our render that I'm going to use for anything. Just doing it for a bit of fun. Maybe if I slide this one in there. We come at it from this angle. How far off the floor? She is miles off the floor. We need to put something under her feet, otherwise that's going to look really odd. That's assuming we shoot for full body, but that's the plan at the moment. So we need to maybe bring another gift in. Let's go back and search for more Christmas, and let's see if we've got any Christmas boxes that are suitably large. There must be some. And that's a big round present. Oh, let's go with that one. And then have that selected. Slide that in under her feet. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Almost, arguably, almost perfect. We take this round a smidge and then slide that there. Right, we need to lower the door down because that is too high. That's correct. Give ourselves a nice distant camera. Have a look through that camera, and then a focal distance, so focal length. Change that. Put her on the rule of thirds line. I think we can afford to zoom in a little bit more. Now we need her to look at the camera. We can get her to do just by selecting her eyeballs. Point at camera. Also point at camera. Now we'll give her an expression. What kind of expression does she need to have? Well, she's celebrating Christmas. So we want her to be happy, happy, happy. Bring up my expressions and probably do it in files rather than products, just because I want to see what options I've got. Have a look at this one. Let's have a looky. Okay, that'll certainly do the job. Right, her left hand is still off the deck a little bit, and you can see it is annoying. So let's select her arm and just bring that bend down a touch more. Right, that'll work. That'll work. Right, now we need to give our camera some depth of field. Depth of field on. Come back to our perspective view. Spin it around. Change our focal distance. It's going to be pretty big there. I'm actually going to narrow it down a smidge just there, like so. Right, now we've got to apply some kind of shader. I don't think from our camera view we can actually see the floor. Oh, we can a little bit. All right, not the end of the world. So we'll go back to perspective view, come back to our geometry editor tool, select our cube, select the floor, geometry assignment, create a surface from selected, and this one's going to be the floor, and then these two, geometry assignment, create surface from selected walls. Cool, right, let's get some paint on. At the floor we want a carpet of some sort or wood. What kind of floor is an office going to have? It's probably going to have some kind of carpet, isn't it? Let's be honest. Laminate floor in offices would just be an unnecessary distraction. So I've got that selected. Let's have a look. Gonna work? Yep, that'll work. And then we select walls. We'll just go with straight up paint. Search for paint there. And give it some kind of off-white. Now, office walls tend to be straight up white, don't they, really? Go with that. Well, we're going to have to seriously tile those two surfaces, I think. The carpet's not so bad because that's going to be bokeh'd out a lot, but the walls, I think if we come to geometry and we change the horizontal tiles to maybe 20 and the vertical tiles to 20 as well, that looks a little bit better. So if we come back to our camera view now, I'm aware that I haven't set up any lighting yet, but I'm just keen to see what the rough kind of feel of the scene's going to be. Alrighty, so while she certainly looks happy, the dress looks very Christmassy. The pose don't look too bad. The lighting is all kinds of wrong though, but that's what we expected that. So back into texture shaded mode we go. In my render settings, I'm actually going to switch off the HDRI. I'm going to go to scene only, and then I'm going to input my own lights in. So what I need to do is come back to perspective view, create a new plane. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the airport. Cool, let's give that. This one's going to be directly over our head, more or less, although slightly to one side. This isn't going to be a hugely powerful light though. Surface is default emission. This one's going to be slightly bluish in tinge as well, because it's going to be like a neon light. And I'll move that up a spot. Come back to our camera. Stick it into Nvidia Ira Mode. It shouldn't see very much. It should be really dim at the moment. Give that a minute to, yeah, there we go. So now if I switch this to KCDMR2, right, cool. So that's the office lighting. That's the lighting that's going to be lighting the room. So if I scale this plane up to like there, you can see it gets much brighter. So there's our office lighting, that's fine. Now we're going to add some kind of coloured light to this side, some kind of orange light to just fill in the shadows there. And then I'll add some kind of coloured lights dotted around to give it a feel as though there's kind of a Christmas vibe going on. So we'll switch that back to texture shader mode. And we'll come back to perspective view. Now I'm going to add some kind of... So I'm going to do a softbox, because I've not done one of those with you guys yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a cube. It's going to be probably, say 1 meter by 1 meter, that's fine. We'll drag this off to the side for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the Y scale to about, I'm going to say 300%, and then I'm going to drop the overall scale down to about 33%. Maybe slightly larger than that. Let's go with there. That works fine. So what I now need to do is go to my geometry editing tool, select the front face, and go to geometry assignment, create surface from selected, and this is going to be the light side, and the rest of it is just going to stick with the default material. Come into our surfaces, you can see we've got two materials there. So this one is going to be plain black, and it's going to have no glossy surface at all. Then we're going to set the light surface. That can remain white because that's just going to be the light. This time we're going to go with a slightly warmer hue of light, somewhere around there probably, and that's going to be KCDMR M/2, whatever that actually means. Anyway, bring this up like that, and then we're going to rotate it around the y-axis until it's pointed more or less at Laura's face. And then if we come back to our camera view, we can make sure that that isn't actually in shot, like so. Now let's have a look in Nvidia Ira Mode and see how powerful that light is. Okay, that's given us a nice little bit of a glow there. That's fine. And now we need something coming in from the other side to balance it out a little bit. In fact, I might just increase the height of that so that it's... There we go. That gives us a little bit more of a... It was hiding some of the detail here, which we don't want. That's cool. Okay, so let's go back into our texture shaded mode, into our perspective view. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to duplicate that, edit, duplicate node, boom. And then we can move the opposite one, and we'll rotate this by doing that. And I'm actually going to put this really close to the wall and rotate it back on ourselves. And this time we're going to change the surface color of the cube light. Going to change that, and this time I'm going to go with a very bluish, purplish kind of hued light. Back into our camera, back into Nvidia Ira Mode again. Come on. Right, so now we can see it's doing something because it's giving us that highlight down there. But is it doing what we want it to do? I think we need to bring it somewhat closer to her without bringing it into the scene. Maybe bring it there. Come back to our camera and have a looky. That's an interesting look for sure. I think it still needs to come forward somewhat though, because it's not getting rid of this shadow. Although I could do, yeah, I know what I'm going to do. Come back to perspective mode. I just wonder if I can just do this while I'm in camera. Get rid of that. Undo that. So this time we're going to go with a cylinder, and it's going to be diameter of a 0.1 of a meter. There, that's cool. Bring this bad boy over here. I'm going to flip it on the x-axis. So x rotate's going to be 90. And then I'm going to use the rotate tool to rotate it around there, like so. Now it needs to come up. Come up, I say. Right, it's going to be in the way of the camera, but that's fine for now because I'm actually going to make it transparent as hell. Right, let's go with our surface properties. We're going to give it a emissive property. It's going to make this one plain white. Geometry, it's going to be 0.000001. The whole purpose of this shape is to reflect in her eyes. So we need to increase the scale somewhat. Along the, what was that originally, the Y scale. Lift it up, touch, because we're shooting, the angle we're looking at her eyeballs is not straight. And I think I'm going to have to actually slide it over this way, because again there's a slight angle in there. Come to our camera, Going to take a minute for that to take effect, but I've got a feeling I'm going to have to switch the lighting up a bit. Anyway, if I go to KCDMR2, it's going to blow out everything though, so we need to drop that down to about 50 perhaps. Just realised we're missing something anyway, but while I am thinking about that, I'm going to come out of Nvidia Ira Mode just for a minute. I'm going to move this because it's still not doing what I want it to do, so I'm going to bring it down. And I'm also going to make it quite a bit closer to our girl. There we go. And we just need to make it so that it's not completely level. We need to be at about there probably. Alright, now I've just realised there's something seriously important missing from this scene. So bear with me. That's what we're after. So we need a... over here and bring it up. That on the desk more or less, yep. And is that okay? Is that going to work? I think so. I believe so. Let's go back to our camera now. Stick it in Nvidia Ira Mode again. See what we get. Right, we also need to fix her hair. And do that there. Adjust head size. That needs to go up by 2%. Get rid of the mess on her forehead. Yep, that's dealt with. Can fix the like poke throughs there and around the neck on in post-production. That's fine. Be honest, I'm still not seeing the catch light, so I think what I need to do is change my positioning and go back to texture shaded, come back to perspective view. What I'm actually going to do, bring it all the way back here and then bump up the brightness. Bring that back up to like 500. Shouldn't have too much of an impact on the scene now because it's quite a long distance away. Should be able to see the reflection in her eyes now. If it's too bright, I can just move it further away still. Yeah, that's giving us what we're after. Okay, last thing then we need to do is back in texture shaded mode. I need to create a final one more light. I'm going to copy this one. Duplicate nodes, bring this over here. Rotate it. So it's pointed towards our girl. It's quite high, so we're going to bring it down. And over here, this time, it's going to be smaller. So we're going to scale this down about that much. Bring it to about there, I want to say. And we're going to change the surface color of the light again. This time we're going to go with maybe some kind of green color, perhaps. Come back to our camera view and stick it in Nvidia Ira Mode and just see what comes out of that. Again, just lifting up those shadows ever so slightly, giving us a greenish tinge, but that'll kind of even itself out once the render processes a little bit more. As you can see, it's lifted the shadows on this side of her face quite significantly now, so it's much better. Cool, so I think setup wise we're done, so I've just got to render this bad boy out now. So thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you next time, but until then, you take damn good care of yourselves, alright? Bye bye.